All right, we're back with Marty Biron. Marty, Juraj Slafkovsky had just 25 points through the first 81 games of his career, but put up 35 points in his final 40 games this past season. That said, do you like the 8-year, $60.8 million extension for Slafkovsky?
Yeah, listen, it's a gamble, right? When you're looking at taking a young player out of his entry-level deal and into a long-term extension, there's always an unknown at what the production is going to be. But let's take this 9 years, because Slafkovsky still has one more year at $950,000 and the 8 years that you're adding on the extension, and you make that a 9-year contract. Well, all of a sudden, the number is more around 6.8 on average, 950 this year, and then the 7.6 after that. So I think that if anybody said, is Juraj Slafkovsky a $6.8 million player over the next 9 years? Absolutely. He'll be a top-line, first-line winger at about, $7 million when you consider the last year of his entry-level deal. So I think that's how you got to look at it. And this is, for me, a no-brainer for the Canadiens and Juraj Slafkovsky to sign this long-term deal.
And as mentioned earlier, Slafkovsky had a disappointing rookie season, but broke out in the second half of his sophomore campaign. So what are your expectations for Slafkovsky next season?
Well, okay, so the 18 goals and 43 points that Slafkovsky had in the last 53 games of the season project to about a 30-goal and 70-point campaign when you put it over 82 games. So I think that's what we should expect from Slafkovsky. He should get between 25 and 30 goals next year, between 65 and 75 points. And right there, you're already getting great value. And I think after a couple of years of, being with the core, being more comfortable, you can definitely see 35, 45, about a point-a-game type player. And I think a point-a-game player in 3-4 years from now is going to be getting $9 million, $10 million, $11 million a year. So again, the value is there. If Slafkovsky reach about 35 goals and 45 assists per season in a few years from now.
So the future is definitely bright. And with this deal, it appears the Habs have established a core around Slafkovsky, Nick Suzuki, and Cole Caulfield. Do you trust this core to have real success as soon as next season?
Well, I think next year is a little bit too early. Look, they're going to have to surround the core, but I really like the core in Montreal. You mentioned Suzuki and Caulfield. I can say Gooley on the defense, Late Hudson on the defense. These are all young players that are going to grow together. We're looking at a core 5, core 6 in Montreal that the Canadiens are going to want to build around. Kirby Dach was hurt last season, so the impact that Kirby Dach could have, along with Slafkovsky, Suzuki, and Caulfield, I think they're going to make some big strides next season, but it's a little too early. I'm giving them a couple of years, 3 years, to really be knocking on the door of the playoffs. Who knows? It's the NHL. Anything can happen. But I think next year, individually, they'll be good. But as a team, I think we're still looking at 2-3 years down the road.
Yeah, well, the Habs are hoping this core will help bring them back to the playoffs for the first time since 2021, when they made it all the way to the Cup final. Marty, thanks for this.